Whether we are an individual that loves to gossip or to talk unkindly or to find fault with people, which we know from previous podcasts is a reflection of our own subconscious and our own self-worth. Do we talk unkindly and gossip? Do we thrive on that kind of energy? Or do we look for the positives and look lovingly and kindly towards people? Hello and welcome back. Now, just before we get started, if you're watching this on the Total Somatics YouTube channel, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the notification bell. So every time an episode is released, you find out very quickly. Okay, so we are going to be going into the next few podcast episodes with a very lovely theme, and that theme is Mindful in May. So if you're watching this in May 2024, you'll know that every year I hold this theme, Mindful in May. And so each week I'm going to cover a different aspect. It's actually the 3 pillars of total somatic education. And we're going to delve into each of them. However, at the end of the month, on Saturday, the 25th of May, I'd love to invite you to a free online event. You and I come together and all these other beautiful friends all around the world for this online event. And it basically, you can join me. We're going to tie together all the pieces that we've learned over these podcast episodes and a bit more as well. So we're going to go a little bit deeper. And I'd love you to join me live, because if you join me live, it's just so lovely, that vibes and that energy from all around the world. And I always love hearing where you're watching from. And there's so many times I either see your names coming up for messages, or you leave comments in Facebook or other social media pictures and images, or I see your likes and your loves and things like that in social media. So it'll be absolutely beautiful and wonderful to connect with you live online. So if you want to join me, if you go to totalsomatics.com/May, go onto that landing page, you'll see all the details applicable to your time zone. And also you'll see the opportunity there to register for the free online event. So this is going to be so wonderful for you and I to connect. So that's totalsomatics.com/May. All the details are there. So let's get started with the first pillar of total somatic education for Mindful in May 2024. But again, applicable all year round. Okay, so we're going to look at the subject of mindset. Mindset is so important for our health and well-being, because whatever we choose to fill our minds with is really our business, it's our choice. However, within the field of behavioral epigenetics, this is the science that looks at how nurture shapes nature. And in this context, nature is referring to the gene control characteristics, and nurture is really referring to the influence of a wide range of experience. And it could be from social interaction to nutrition to having a positive mental attitude. And with total somatics, you'll know I often highlight how we can be very selective with our choices in life. And that could be the friends that we mix with, the associates that we have, maybe the entertainment that we enjoy, what we read, what we listen to, what we watch, the food and drink that we consume. And whether we are an individual that loves to gossip or to talk unkindly or to find fault with people, which we know from previous podcasts is a reflection of our own subconscious and our own self-worth. Do we talk unkindly and gossip? Do we thrive on that kind of energy? Or do we look for the positives and look lovingly and kindly towards people? Look at being cohesive with people, having that cohesive behavior, and less likely to judge. Because all of this influences our health and well-being. It has a huge impact right down to the cellular level, and it's impacting our emotional, mental, physical, and energetic health. So we can either choose one or the other, and that will show up in our well-being. And so research within behavioral epigenetics has actually confirmed that the brain cells actually translate the mind's perception or the beliefs of the world around, to the world around you. So these beliefs are translated into chemical profiles that are secreted into our blood. And these influence the outcome of the body's 50 trillion cells. And so what happens is the neurochemical component within our blood is also regulating our cells' genetic and behavioral activity. And I just want to quote something here from an epigeneticist called Steve Cole, and he's from the UCLA School of Medicine. Now, he told the Pacific Standard magazine, he said, I quote, "A cell is a machine for turning experience into biology." So really, when we look at that statement there, in essence, when we change our perception or our beliefs, we change basically the blood's neurochemical composition, which then we know initiates change in the body's cells. Isn't it fascinating? Remember I said before, right down to a cellular level. So really, considering this research, we can see how this blends so beautifully with total somatics and how mindset has a huge role in being totally somatic. It's beautiful, isn't it? Seeing how it all weaves together. And so many times I've often discussed how we are basically just a collection of habits and patterns. And unless we become aware or conscious of these habits and behaviors, basically we continue to live in this cycle of habits and behaviors. We don't change anything. We continue to live in almost like a groundhog day, and we continue to experience the same recurring issues and pain and limitations. So in recent weeks, it's interesting how things come together. I've been having some really fascinating conversations with people locally here in Adelaide, South Australia, but also with people globally. Really interesting how it all comes together. But basically, what all these conversations have in common is that if a person wants to change what's basically been impacting them for a very long time, they have to be ready personally to make that change and to be consistent. And that's the key word, to be consistent. And so that's why in this week's theme, I'd like us to be consistent by trying to create a fertile mind for positive, upbuilding, kind, cohesive, loving, thoughtful words, actions, and behaviors. And this really becomes like a biological gift to us for our health and happiness. And really, if we are focusing on that fertile mind, it's not only going to mean our internal belief systems and our internal narratives and how we talk to ourselves, basically, that will start to change. We're less harsh with ourselves, but then we're going to be less judgmental and less harsh with other people. Because remember, whatever we project out and however we treat other people is really how we treat ourselves. So when we look after ourselves, when we're very selective with our mindset, what we want to grow and make fertile in our mind, not only will it make us feel happier, it's actually going to have that ripple effect to the community around us. And I'd like to share some very famous words from Gandhi, which weave in very well with this. And he said, "Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny." Very interesting, isn't it? How one thing weaves into another, and as I said before, has that ripple effect. So during this week, to take what we've learned today, but to see how we can start putting it into action and being totally somatic, can I encourage you to notice what the predominant thoughts are, what the main words and actions, what you're saying to yourself internally. Ask yourself, how are you talking to yourself? Are you quite critical? Are you being harsh with yourself, almost like a perfectionist? What are you like when you're conversing with other people or maybe talking with other people? What's that conversation like? Is it upbuilding? Is it gossipy and fault finding? Can we start to just look at what the contents of our mind is, because that shows in our actions and our thoughts and our behaviors, how we interact with people. And if it's starting to go into a negative spiral, could I encourage you just to spin it and start to look a little bit more through a positive lens? Look at how we can take real appreciation and gratitude. Whatever we were going to be negative about, if it's ourselves or other people, the community, the world around us, could you spin it and instead look for 3 things to be grateful or to be thankful for? Because it's about conditioning and changing our mindset. It's very natural to go into the negative. We love, well, not we, but human nature loves negativity. That's why negative news sells. I've said it many, many times. They have dramatic music with the media. Print is always in red. exclusives or danger or whatever it is, that's because we are naturally gravitated towards the negative side of things. So what we want to do is work against that bias and create more of a positive action, because as we've learned with today's episode, if we can change our mindset, we change everything right down to a cellular level. So a lot of food for thought there today, and I'd love you just to let me know what you think. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments below anything that stood out to you as takeaway points. And I would, as I said, I'd love you to join me this at the end of the month, May the 25th, and that's totalsomatics.com/May. So until next time, all my love and my very best wishes. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and also forward this on to somebody you know will benefit. To learn more about pain relief, plus how to improve your health and well-being, go to totalsomatics.com. Until next time, take care.